Good evening, everybody. It's Mario with Motorcycle Knuckle Busters, and we're back at it again. I want to thank everybody. Just so you know, the interview we just did with Rick Fairless last Friday, all right, crossed well over 200,000 views. I mean, we couldn't do it without you. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. I hope you continue to share, like our page, follow us. Don't miss an episode. Go back and watch some of the old episodes, maybe before you learned about us, because they're really awesome. And we've got a new episode again. All right, we're here again this evening with another dynamic, wonderful, wonderful guest. All right, this is a person that I had the opportunity to meet, and just fast friends, and that's what's part of the beauty of the motorcycle world. I wanted to bring you this person because I think she speaks to the hearts of all cyclists out there. She's a throwback to a bygone era when people used to just go on their bike, and I'm talking many years ago. Guys would just go across country on their bikes. All right, would explore and see this country. All right, and she does it, and she shares that experience through many ways, through books, through lectures, and just getting out there and meeting people. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Momma D Diamond.
Yo, how you doing?
Hey, sweetheart, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. This is what 1 hour of sleep and happy looks like.
Oh, well, I didn't recognize that. I haven't seen that on you before. So
yeah,
oh my goodness.
I'm happy. I'm so happy right now in my life that I know that I can't ever make up sleep, but I was literally just like this all day yesterday. So I mean, I'm good.
Well, what were we up to? I mean, an hour of sleep. You must have been having some
you want
serious
to
fun.
That, huh? No. It's just that I'm in a good place in my life because I'm getting ready to move to Vegas, of course, as you know, and I'm just looking forward to being able to touch as many people as I possibly can out there. I've been writing my second book, and it's just flowing out of me, and I am so far from being PC that you can, I mean, I even laugh and say, girl, I cannot believe you just saying that. But the thing is, that's the problem is people are so busy, like walking on eggshells around people. And then when they are addicted to somebody and you know that they're messing with you and you call them and they're like, I was just kidding. That's bullshit. Because when somebody tells you that they're kidding after they fuck with you and try to turn it around on you, then you know they're full of shit. So I have to do that once in a while. But no, I'm just excited about the future and just kind of telling it the way it is, because in my book, I'm going to be talking about everything from a 700-pound vibrator to all kind of stuff.
I can't wait. I mean, and of course, we're going to get to talking about your book here in a little bit, the one I've got sitting in front of me. But I want to back up a little because you talked about getting out there and meeting people, and I want to pop a picture up because I kind of want to tell this story. So,
oh my God!
So this was what happened on this day?
We met at a gas station.
Yeah, in Tennessee.
And yeah, the thing is, but I'm curious. So where was it you guys met? I'm like, I don't know, because I don't keep track of. I mean, seriously. It's just that the fact that you gave me your phone number and said, if you need anything, I took that. See, people don't understand when you're out there on a motorcycle and somebody genuinely, because you can tell, because I can tell, I've learned. You can tell an asshole real quick, and you can tell somebody who's genuinely like meaning this. And I've met a handful of those people, and you're like, you don't even want to leave them. You want to just stay there because you don't find that many people like that. But the fact that when I got home, I didn't need it. When I spoke to you before, after that, and then we hung out in Vegas together. I mean, when I move, I feel like I already have a family already. And that's, to me, I've never had that before. And it's just, but at a gas station.
They had a gas station in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. So I'll actually be out there here in end of May. They've got the Tennessee Music and Motorcycle Revival. So that's a pretty good little gig there. I was there last year, but yeah, I was there. I was actually going through. They were dealing with a major problem with floods and things that had happened down there. And I was at the gas station. I looked up. I thought you were somebody else at first, and I got surprised. And then something told me, hey, go back and give her your number, and just in case, because here I meet this gal out here, and she's traveling the country, and she just tells me, nope, I just go everywhere. I mean, and I just felt compelled, that you never know when somebody's going to be in need, and that's kind of what the motorcycle world's about, and that's the reason I want to talk and bring that up because, our meeting and our chance meeting like that. How many meetings have you had like that? I know you must have had just hundreds, maybe thousands of chance meetings like this.
No, not good ones. Not good ones. Not good ones. There's a part in my book about surviving stupid people. Stupid shit people say. Because, I mean, when people come up to me at a gas station, see, I have learned this. I've been different my entire life, and it ain't because of my color. It's just I was born different. So when people come up to me, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I let them say stupid shit without assuming they are, because I have had that chance meeting with somebody that you don't know because you kind of feeling each other out, and all of a sudden you talk and it's like a wonderful thing, but that don't happen. Like that's 1 in a million too. But the thing is, it's like when you're out there, assume that somebody's going to, that's what I have to do now. Assume somebody's going to just have to say something because they don't know how to fit you into a box. They need to try to fit you into some kind of a negative box because that way it feels more comfortable for them because they never saw anything like you before. So they're like, well, you got to be a biker, or you're this, or you're that. And it's like, because they don't want to get to know you. They want to just assume they do that way because it makes it better for them. But no, sure. The thing that happened with that's, I don't think as I can recall, I don't think I've ever had that on the road. I've had a handful, like out of over 600,000 miles. Nah, I can't. I can't. I can count them on one hand.
Well, I feel privileged. I gotta tell you. So tell me. So let's back.
The truth. I'm not gonna. We talk about real and raw. I like that title too. Don't get me started.
So I want to back up a little. Now you were raised in Oklahoma, correct? Yeah. So tell me about that.
Oh, okay. So people don't understand where I grew up because my mom and dad got divorced when I was maybe 4, and we lived in Texas. They got divorced, and I don't know why. Because kids are not brought into anything. Like you're not told anything. You set up.
You're oblivious to everything.
Yeah, you sat there, shut up. I don't want to hear. So we moved to Oklahoma to this little blackened out wooden shack that literally, if you didn't have a cardboard up on the wall, you'd see right through the boards. It was old blackened, that blackened stuff you see on in these black and white films. That's what I grew up in. Also, we didn't have a cellar, and of course, we're in Tornado Alley, and we didn't have electricity in a lot of situations. Once in a while, and it never lasted long, but mostly we used kerosene lamps. I was the main person who supplied food on the table. I had to go out and kill shit. So pretty much anything that moved was going to be dinner. And I actually did a ride with these women and from California. God bless them. God bless their heart. I told them how I used to kill 4 chickens on Sunday. You kill them, you wring the neck, you kill them, you stick them in the hot water, you singe them over the old fire, and you fry them up, and that's going to be dinner. But you fry them in Crisco and all kinds of shit like that. But when I told them that's what I did, they were like, oh, that's horrible. I said, obviously, you've never been hungry.
Right.
Because when you have no food, no nothing. See, that's another thing, too, is I had to shoot stray dogs because if they came into our chicken house and was going to kill our food, I had to stick that gun right out the back window, the screen door. And I've busted a cat right in the dog's ass, but it was a wild dog. It was eating your food. Wasn't like, oh, how cute. It's like, no, when you're talking about taking food off of our table, it's like if somebody's coming at me, like I don't want to throw hands with a grown ass man, which I've had to a couple of times. And that was just out of necessity. But I don't want to have to do that. But if it comes to that person taking me down, or I might die, but you're going to know you was in a fight.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is by me growing up like that, and also going to school was I'm getting emotional right now because when I was afraid to go to school because I knew it was very segregated. I mean, you lived on the wrong side of the tracks.
Sure.
Somebody said it's no such thing as the wrong side of the track. Bullshit. Yes, there is. Don't. When somebody says that, I have to just realize they don't know what they're talking about. So I was horrified to go to school, and I remember hiding in the bushes, not wanting to go in because I was horrified of what was going to happen, and it came true. But I'm sitting there, and somebody has actually reminded me of, that little girl that was hiding in those bushes? Look at her now. And this was years ago. But I went in and I was hard, because it was they rub your head for good luck. I heard the N word almost every day. And one time, this was every time in my life that I look back, there's been prominent things that have dominated my not life right now at 6 years old. I'm in the first grade. I'm a little colored child in the playground. And this little boy is in a sand pile and he's pushing me down. Everybody's laughing. And I'm like, and I'm horrified. So I go home and I tell my mother, and she beat my ass. She said, I told you, you don't start a fight, but if somebody puts their hands on you, you finish it. That's all she needed to say to me. I went to school the next day. Things started all over again. I beat his ass. We were friends for 12 years. And then I realized that day that I didn't have to worry about throwing hands with anybody else after that. Because once they see it, because I don't even remember what I did. I went into this rage, which I've been known to come close to doing that out on the road right now. And people within the sound of my voice run away. They literally like, oh, I'm coming in like you, like in Wyoming, like, you inbred motherfucker. I'm screaming, and it's a black woman in Wyoming, and I got knives and shit, and everybody's like, and I ain't talking to nobody. I'm just screaming. So, but I realized that at that day that I can't change this, but I can change this, and I can change here. And I ended up being the class president, senior class president, the drum major of the band, captain of the basketball team. Hell, I would have played football if they let me. I just realized, and I use that to this day. I use that to this day. It's like, you know what? People, I didn't put that in the book. That's one of my numbers. I'm talking about all real shit in this book, that people they segregate each other. People do that to each other. Don't blame shit. You do that shit to each other. If we would just stop doing that, it's so. After I turned 64 and survived that second accident, I ain't got no time for people being stupid, ignorant, and hateful, because you're not going to take my shine. You're not going to stop me from coming into your town. And if you're going to hurt me, you're going to have to kill me, because I will still. You could fill me with bullets. You better kill me, because I'm coming after your ass. I don't stop easy, and the thing is, that's what I'm saying. All the stuff that I went through as a child, the stuff that I'm doing right now. Matter of fact, when I tell people, I said I used to kill our food. I used to walk the streets of Manhattan when I was personal training at midnight. So anywhere I am, I feel comfortable, because I know I have what it takes to survive. So I got professional fighters that said, if shit hits the fan, we coming to mama's house, because they know I can kill shit. And I even said this. I was having lunch with my buddies, the state police. Now, see, they have to have some kind of decor, like, because they are, even if they're not on duty, they're still on duty. And I'm talking about, it's really pissing me off, these weak people out there. But you have to realize, weak people are food, and they're going to make it easy, because they'll just do this, and you won't even have to change them. And they're looking at me like, who the hell is this? And that's why they keep asking, they keep telling me, you need to be a state police officer. I said, you just want to tase me. So the thing is, but like I said, I have that kind of mentality, because nobody has the right to tell you where you can do, what you can do. And like I said, nobody owes you nothing. You get out there and you conquer shit. You get out there and when you lay down, or if you're lucky enough to do that, I just want to go in a blaze of glory. I want to fucking just, I don't want to dimmer switch. I want to just go out hard. But if you got that luxury of laying in your bed, you're not going to say, I wish I would have worked a couple more hours. I wish I would have. No, that trip you wanted to take, that whatever you wanted to do, we don't get tomorrow. Tomorrow is like, listen, I can do it tomorrow. What that they're not guaranteed that. I don't care what age you are. People think because you're old you're going to die. Young people are dying every day. They're dying every single day, and I just rather get out there and live my life. And if God, I'm more afraid of falling in the shower than I am killing myself on a motorcycle. You should see me get in the shower like, oh my God, I'm going to fall and I can't get up. You know them commercials?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm falling and I can't get up. I do not want to be caught like naked in the bathtub because I can't get up. And the paramedics, they better send some cute ones. Just say.
There you go.
Because they might not get out alive. I might break a hip, but I got other shit I can use. Okay.
So I want to pop up another.
Let me get back to my growing up.
So I want to pop up another.
Like I said, I went to school on I forgot about this. See, my mother wanted me to have kids. Like when I started having my period, my mother wanted me to start having babies. I didn't understand that. You can't fault somebody who that's what they think. That's how they grew up. That babies welfare. The more babies you have, it doesn't matter how many men. So I got pregnant at 17. I was horrified. It was by a 25-year-old man. I was horrified, and she was happy. And I'm thinking, it didn't even feel right because I'm like, oh my God, I made her ashamed. She was like, she called the caseworker right away and had them come over to try to sign me up for welfare. And I was like, oh hell no. So the second day I was home because my mother always wanted another son. She took my son out of my arms and raised her as her own and used that child for me to send money home. I was actually singing on the road. I ended up being a singer, and I started singing in college and ended up being professional. I was literally eating out of soup cans, had duct tape on my luggage. I went home when my mom passed away. She had china. She had luggage. She never went anywhere. That was the money I was sending home. She had subscriptions to magazines. She was buying my sibling, grown ass siblings, cigarettes. She called me like that night, be crying and said the phone's gonna get cut off tomorrow because it's $300 phone bill because my sister was calling her collect, and I had to pay it. It didn't, and it wasn't no such thing to say, well, you shouldn't know. You don't understand. When you grow up like I did, it doesn't matter what your parent or an adult tells you, you don't question it. You just do it. That's just how I was raised. And the thing is, it's like, I mean, that's to that extreme, but that's how a lot of people were raised. Your mother, I don't care, because they're doing the best they can. She didn't know no better. That's why she was raised. She was one of 20. My grandmother only saw her feet when they was up in the air. Okay, that one she had 4 sets of twins. She was just dropping the shit out, just going and back into the field picking cotton. So, but she raised him, and right now, we don't have a relationship because, and I don't even know something happened, but there was not a good foundation there. I mean, I used to write this child every single day, and it just. You can't be a parent like that because I mean, all I was a source of funds.
Right.
I mean, I'd come home from I was living in Jersey at the time. I'd fly home because I was personal training. I wasn't even riding yet. So she started crying when I was leaving with bills that I needed to pay. But it was I was no lie. I was like O.J. Simpson in the airport because she almost made me miss my flight because she would start right as I was getting ready to get in my rental car, drive it back to Tulsa, get on the airplane, fly back to Newark Airport. And she started pulling out bills that had not been paid. But I was sending money home. So where's that money going? I'm sending money home for the bills to be paid. She's using it on other stuff. So I have to do this. And it could be, I would always have to come home with $1,000 cash on me because I know. And I wouldn't come home with nothing.
Yeah, she was out there spreading your wealth, unfortunately.
And like I said, that's why, you know what? That's why it's so cool that my name officially, legally on my driver's license and everything is Momma D, because working with those fighters starting in 2008 with these professional fighters, and they started calling me Momma D, And before that, with all this other stuff happening, I never thought I had what it took to be a mom, because I was never really given the opportunity. But when they literally, and to this day, they treat me, one of the young men has me as his mother on Facebook, as his mom. So when they call me that, that was a name I earned. I didn't want to keep my married name. So Diamond, the reason why I chose Diamond is because of what it takes to create a diamond, the strength that it takes. And that's what I feel like, that it just fits perfectly now.
Okay. So
There it
Momma
is.
D, let's
Yeah.
so we're going to go back a little, because you've been telling us, tell us about yourself, but you were talking about singing. So tell me about this. Tell me about the picture. Tell me, where were we? Tell me what was going on with your career at that time.
Oh, I never really had a career. I just started singing because I could actually make money, because that was another reason for me to send money home. Because college wasn't going to send money home, because that's why I ended up not getting a degree. Went 2 years, didn't get a degree because I had a chance to sing. So I started in college, and I also played college basketball. And so I had, the band would sing, because it was a college band. We played like, parties and the whole thing, and proms and things like that. So, but the band would play halftime, but I'm one of the singers and dancers. So instead of me going into the locker room at halftime with the team, I'd be singing with the band with my basketball uniform on.
That's
And
awesome.
then they come back into the locker room and get the very, very final end of what they need to do to go out there. And then what happened is the band ended up going pro, because we ended up starting. We would play an entire summer at the Sheridan in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Nice.
And they put us up, and you get paid. And that's another thing too, is I learned from singing. I got this. It was a manager that we had in college. Her name was Molly Babcock. Molly Babcock. She always told me to sing to the back row. In other words, when you're up there on that stage and you're giving of yourself, people in the front row see you. You got to give that energy. You got to feel that room and show people that they are just as important as those people in the front row as the ones in the nosebleed seat. And I never missed a gig because she said the show must go on. I mean, I have sang sick. I have sang drunk. I mean, wasted. I mean, this band. I'm skipping ahead a little bit. It was a band I used to play with down at Seaside High in Jersey named Kick. It was so bad that they had a pin that says "I survived the night with Kick," because when you came to have a party, you came with us, and we were playing down in Temptations down in Seaside Heights, and we would play. Now we play an hour on and an hour off. That hour off could fuck you up. Okay, me and the bartender are doing shots. Like they're,
So where was this in Seaside Heights? Because I'm familiar with. I was stationed at Fort Monmouth.
It was in Temptations at Seaside and Jersey Shore. It was a Temptations at the
Temptations.
night. So the nightclub Temptations. It was 3 hours on and like an hour on off. Normally it's 45 minutes on, 15 minutes. You can't get instrument. Well, we tried, but an hour. It was so bad that the bartender, we're doing shot to shot. I'm on the stage it's like 12 feet high, which is not good with stilettos either. So, and they're shuttling drinks up, and we're doing shots one-on-one. They say, no, he's gone. Oh, what the hell? He had to leave. They had to take him. He was toast. Now the drummer of the band is built like Chewbacca. I mean, big, blonde, straight hair. That was his nickname. They called him Chewbacca. I got this big motherfucker pinned up against the wall in the back, because it was like a stage behind it's like a stage. Like a room behind the stage. So I was back there saying, I can't do it, because I am fucked up. It was so bad because I sang 90% of the songs. They had to start repeating songs, because in between the songs, I was back in the back, and they was just throwing water on me, and I had my legs up in the air, and it was so bad that some of my groupies stopped it. They had to stop every few minutes in the car, because I was just blowing, child. I'm like, what? I mean, it was bad. And then they take me to a hotel in Toms River.
Yeah,
I think it was a Holiday Inn in the Toms River, where they stuck me in the shower with my clothes on and just turned. I ate cream corn for 3 days and swore off drinking. Well, you know how that happened.
Yeah, it's usually short lived.
Yeah,
Back, especially when we're younger.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's why when I see my fighters thinking they doing some shit that I haven't already done, I did that shit better than you. You think you a hoe? I did that shit better than you before you was born. So you ain't showing, you ain't by their actions, because I'll say all my boys are horse and none of them, they don't even desire it. Because I know musicians and the fighters, all of them, I watch them do shit and I don't know nothing because they don't have to say. I just know that that's what they do. But don't come to me and ask me where they are and what they're doing because those are my boys, so I don't know nothing. And that's exactly what I have learned that years ago. I don't know nothing.
I want to pop it. I want to pop up another picture. So now, didn't you tell me you used to make the outfits or something?
Yeah, I designed my own costumes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing that again soon when I move to Vegas because when I start talking, I'm going to be a member of the National Speakers Association, but Mama's not going to be doing no suit shit. Mama's going to be designing her own shit. The motorcycle's going to be on the stage, and I would get up in the middle of the night. That costume, finally, I got rid of that thing. That thing was, I had stuff that was so old. Matter of fact, I tell people I got underwear older than you. And one of my boys said, Mom, we need to buy you some new underwear. I'm thinking, oh shit, I got to stop using that line in. So, but yeah, matter of fact, I wore this with a big rimmed hat in Jersey with these like leggings and like heels and gloves at this party, like this high-end party in New Jersey. And they're like, oh my God, we love your outfit. Like, these big mansions in like West Orange, New Jersey. And I was like, where'd you get it? I said, out of my closet. I didn't spend a dime on that shit. I mean, these are women that have 300 pair of black shoes.
Oh yeah. If you go to Rumson, if you go to Rumson or Deal there, Township, Rumson or Deal Township there in Monmouth County. I mean, that's big money there.
Well, yeah, and I worked in Short Hills, Livingston, West Orange, places that I didn't really want to work there after dark. Matter of fact, let me just skip a little beat here. Speaking of that, it was in Murray Hill, New Jersey. And I can call this shit out. Matter of fact, I'm naming shit in my book, stuff that I'm just not gonna name no people. I might get sued. But this young man was a black tennis pro. This child got arrested 20 times riding through Murray Hill at night because the police would say, you look like somebody that's wanted.
You're up to no good. The owner of
the place was bailing this child out every other day. We're talking about an Urkel person. I mean, we're talking about horn-rimmed glasses, minivan, was getting pulled over by the police. That's why one time we had this party with some of my clients that I couldn't even afford to pay the valet. And I said, I mean, we're talking about women are bringing, they bring their own bottles of wine because they would just steal from their husband's wine cellar. They had like 6,000 whites and 3,000 reds and shit like that. So and the bill was over $600, and I'm like, what the fuck did we eat? So I'm thinking, I ain't got no money. So I was talking to this woman about bartering for sessions, and I'm like, can you give me some money for the valet? So they asked me, because they were so drunk that they forgot the limousine service that they had used, and they asked me, can I take them on my house? Oh, hell no. I'm not going to your neighborhood at night. And the thing is, they even understood. They didn't even question it. And so the husband
you're going to be guilty by color.
Oh, I see. The thing is, and that's happened before. But see, the thing is, but what they knew, it wasn't even like I had to say it again. Soon as I said, that ain't happening. But see, the thing is that when they were calling the husband and told the husband that they forgot the limousine service, he was so mad because normally he's the one going out and get drunk. So his wife went out and got drunk and forgot the limousine service. So he just hung up on her. So I'm like, you ladies are on your own. I mean, these women got so much money. I mean, they could call another limousine service. They ain't got to worry about nothing. But it was just so funny to watch this. And I mean, they literally had a waiter just for them at the table.
Sure.
And I just, you know what I'm saying? It's nice to have it. Hey, I ain't going down anybody with money because it's coming to me like crazy and I'm loving it, but I'm also going to give it away too, because I'm going to do things. I want to live a comfortable lifestyle and I want to be able to pay my bills and pay it forward. That's my
Cool.
thing. Is I want to anything that I do. What I've done is all that stuff that's happened to me since before 6, all that stuff that I've been challenged with to make me stronger. Guess what? If I can pass some of that knowledge on to people, I am like my book. I'm not telling you what to do in a book. This book is not a book that, well, you should do this. No, this is what I do. If you choose to do it, if you pick one thing in this book that I do and do it for the rest of your life, you'll be better. You're not going to be like this because this is something that's been going on. I've been working on this for like 40 years and it's still a work in progress. But I'm not expecting anything like that. And I'll also tell you, I'm not perfect. I will talk to kids about me doing cocaine. I mean, one time I got 7 grams of cocaine given to me for my birthday. I had people fighting to take me home. And then, matter of fact, oh, you're going to love this. Everybody's going to love this. I was living with the drummer. No, living with... I'm getting the men mixed up. The sound man of the band and dating a drummer from another band. But they both knew about it. One would come pick me up, and the other one said, just don't keep her out too late. That's the shit that's how I had it going on back then. Right? So the thing is, for my birthday, when I had the 7 grams of cocaine, I went at home with somebody else. I come back the next morning. I not only have the drummer of that other band, I had a drummer of my band and a sound man. They were all waiting up for me because, see, back then they didn't have cell phone. I would just disappear. They had no cell phone. See, that's what's so interesting. I'd be on the road and just go with somebody, and I had no idea who the hell they are. And I didn't even think about it. So I walk in the next day like this, and they're like, and the one guy that I'm living with and the other one, they're like, we told you not to let her go out with anybody else. And I'm standing there all giving me like the evil eyes. I said, you guys are not the boss of me. And then I walked off, and they just all 3 big motherfuckers just stood there. And I'm thinking, what are you going to do? You don't own me. So, but that's the kind of, like, you know, like I said, people think that what I am is an act. No, I'm just doing this not high. This is just me straight. Can you imagine me high?
No, no.
Well, they didn't give.
And I know for a fact this is how you are.
Well, see, when they would give me they would not give me a cordless microphone when I sang, because I would end up in the parking lot. So I would go in the men's dressing. I mean, I'd go into the men's bathroom, and that was just the part. Like, now, think about it. Now I was bad. Everything was hanging out, but I was close. The important parts were covered, but there was a lot of stuff banging. So I walk into the men, and also I got like heels like this. So that means I'm like 6'3". And
right.
These guys are like now pissing on themselves because they've seen this. They said, can you keep your lead singer out of the dressing room? I get on the stage to talk about shit that I saw. I didn't see shit. I'd make shit up. And I talked about how that one guy had to use both hands because his dick was so big. I didn't see shit. I made that shit up. And the thing is, he came up to me later and actually said, oh my God, you got me a date. I'm like, dude, I did not see nothing. I hope she didn't. I don't know. I have no idea what you packing. So, and then and if somebody was a dick, I would give me a heckler. You are not going to beat me. And you know what I would do? I would not go at a heckler with anger. I just make fun of them and make it funny where the people would laugh and they would actually come up and buy you a drink. So, I mean, I would talk about that person and talk about this motherfucker needed a pair of tweezers for his shit. And he was pissing all over his leg because his dick was so little. And the thing about it is so funny. And he was even laughing. He came up and bought me a drink.
That's awesome.
And also when I would do show bands. And I also noticed that when I go out into the audience, and I was always going to mess with somebody's husband if she gave me the green light. If I was going up to a table and the woman looked at me like, bitch, you better step back. I'm like, well, hell no. I would detour to somewhere else. And then when she's doing it like this, I'm like, okay. So I'd go to him, start messing with him, and just tell her, I'm just getting the wheels going, and it's your time to ride the bicycle when you get home. I'm just going to get in worked up.
I love it. So let's pop up another picture.
Oh, that was me in Morocco.
Where at?
I was in Morocco. I don't remember. I was out with a photo shoot with a guy who was a badass right out of California. He's a pro rider out of California. That was an ST that I had, an RT that I got to ride. I was invited by a guy that I trained when I had my personal training business in New York City. He was the president of a financial banking firm. One time I was coming from Jersey, there was an ice storm. And I told him, I called him up and said, Bert, it's really bad outside. It's ice. I said, I'm going to leave right now. I just want to let you know I might be late. Now he's sitting on his perch on Fifth Avenue and said, I'm going to be here. You just make sure you are. Okay. The gauntlet was now thrown down. I said, all right. Oh, okay, motherfucker. I was waiting for him. He had penthouse A and B. I'm sitting in his penthouse waiting for his ass. And he comes out of his perch on the Fifth Avenue and almost busted his ass on the sidewalk because it was so slick. He walks in and says, oh my God, you took that as a personal challenge, didn't you? I said, get upstairs. I trained him. That was the last time I trained because nobody talks to me. I don't care how many billions of dollars you got. You don't fucking talk to me like that. So I'm left, and I was literally, it was like midnight by this time. And no, I take that back. It was midnight before I got home. But I'm leaving, and I'm riding through Central Park to get back on the west side of town. And he was like, oh my God, you can't leave. It's too bad out there. I'm like, and I just left. It was so bad that the trees in Central Park, once I got through, had buckled like this. They closed the park, and I had just gotten through. I get home at like midnight, and his wife was like, oh my God, Bert's so sorry. Bert's so sorry. Well, fucking Bert can't call me then. And I said, I know some of the top trainers in Manhattan. So I was sending them people because I know they are self-proclaimed snobs because he was a president of a financial banking firm and she was a daughter of a French ambassador. That, as far as I was concerned, they were nice people until he stepped in some shit. So the thing is, she said, well, can you at least, wish him a happy birthday? Because all my clients, they got birthday presents, they got calls, they got everything. I treated them, but they also treated me real good too, though. They would, $100 bills were just flowing in my cards. So after I started riding and I got hit by a car 6 months later, I was back on a motorcycle, did all these miles, and I called him and said, at the time I'd done 48 states, 3 Canadian provinces, and 47 days and 47 days and over 40,000 miles and working full-time as a personal trainer. So I did almost 100,000 miles between 2 vehicles. And I had faxed him what I had done. It's like, oh my God, we do this male bonding trip every year and you're going. And I'm like, what? So he gets on a 3-way phone call. Now this is Bert in New York and this Bert in Chicago at Lotus Tours, which is a touring company. So we're on a 3-way phone call. So Bert in New York and he introduces me like, I'm walking out on Broadway or something. And he said, she's going. And the guy in Chicago said, Bert, the tour is sold out. He said, who pays your bill? She's going. So I'm like, fuck, I'm going to Africa. That's paid my flight. He paid for my rental of my motorcycle. These men had never seen nobody like me the first day because I'm late because I'm stuck in a snowstorm in Jersey just to get to, because we flew into Sevilla. And I was late because I'm surprised we even took off. I mean, we're talking about a blizzard. I got there. I'm all nervous because I'm late. And the guy from Chicago said, you made it. Calm down. You're fine. So, of course, now I don't know what these men are used to seeing, but I come in, I'm the first woman ever invited, and now black woman too, to be invited on this tour. All these rich $1 million white men, they're like, and it was so funny because I come downstairs, I'm just wearing a tight leopard top and some Levi's. You swear I was naked. I walked in, they were like, one guy was halfway to the bar, whatever she wants to drink, I'm buying. So the whole time we're there, now Bert, the guy invited me, he's getting all jealous because they're taking my time. So one morning he calls me up, and I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't care how many executives that I worked with when I worked with these people, not one of them beat me in a negotiation. Not one. So he would call, everything's a negotiation with these people. They negotiate everything. So he calls me up and says, you ready to go? I'm like, no, I'm naked. And he was like, because he's trying to get me away from everybody else. So he wants me to leave early with him. And I was like, no, I'm naked. And so we ended up leaving the time I wanted to anyway. But so we're riding through the desert and we're at this palace. That's all we stayed at was palaces. So he calls his wife in Manhattan and says, guess who I'm sitting poolside with? like this. But that's how she don't care. So
So
that go ahead.
so I want to bring that up. I mean, I don't want to stop you if there's more good stuff there.
No, as always, huh?
There's so you're talking about riding.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about that time with 48 states and 3 Canadian provinces, and then you go to Morocco and everything else. And since you've done 50, all right, we'll try to get that in there.
2
So tell
times.
me about this book.
Oh, that is it was like giving birth. I
I think
I
you've said
wrote
that before.
I
And there you go, folks, so
I
you can
also
see that.
see I have a better version because it's got my new name on it now.
Oh, I see how you play.
I
I
put
see how you
stickers on
played.
it.
Me, you gave me old stock.
Yeah, I put see I'm not going through all the change. I just put this on there and just cover it up. So I bought stickers at a perfect size. So when I get a
I'm
book,
just teasing.
oh yeah, I know. But I just figured I'm not gonna I could go through all that, but I ain't doing it. But no, that book was see, because when I wrote it initially, I was married to that person who walked out on me with a text and a letter after 32 years of marriage. So now I'm writing the book because he's the kind of person that he never wanted nothing bad could happen. Anything that was a problem was a problem. So in other words, anytime because when you're on a motorcycle, shit's gonna happen out there. And every time I had a problem, I would always have it rectified and call him and tell him I'm having a problem, and he'd give me shit anyway. So now that he walked out, I'm thinking, well, if I have a problem now, I already dealt with it. Now I don't have to make the fuck phone call. So he wanted me to whitewash this book, like literally take out anything that was bad that happened. And so, but that was a good reason for me not to get that book published because publishers were turning me down. I ended up self-publishing, but but still, they couldn't wrap their brain around it because it wasn't supposed to be published then. And then when he left, I went back in and I not only just really threw some stuff in there that was going on behind the scenes that people didn't know that was going on I was dealing with because he would convince everybody that he loved me and he worshiped the ground I walked on. But behind closed doors, he was constantly doing this to me.
Sure.
And so I was able to put that in there and show people what he would say, but then what he would really be saying behind closed doors. And I was able to put in a chapter 9, which talked about all those things to help people that are going through things like that behind, because they're seeing me and say, well, I got permanent brain damage from an accident too. People always say, well, you look good. You must be fine. It's like, so does an apple until you bite into it once in a while, and you got some rotten shit going on. So I take good care of myself, but the fact that I was able to now, this book is not just a book like my book that's coming. The books that I put out there are books that you can pick it up, open it to a day or to a number. And then you might just dog ear that page. You don't have to read the whole book. I got one state police officer friend of mine, my original book that I, like wanted to just give to friends. I gave him a copy and I asked him, can I have it back? He says, no. He said, I read this all the time for motivation. This is a New Mexico State Motor Patrol sergeant that and that's an earned thing. That's another thing that the fact that when I'm getting along with these people, that I seem to have people that either active military, police force, all these bad fighters, all these badass people, women that freaking pull guns out of their bras, shit like that. And but in this book, there's those people too, believe it or not, people don't understand. Those people that are like us, we're sometimes dealing with some shit that people just think that you're so badass, but you just know that you're dealing with some shit, but you just know it can't break you. You just know, because my sister committed suicide in 2017 because I've been close. I have looked for a semi with the teeth. I've looked and I was thinking about going head into that shit. But I realized that I'm going to say after the fact, when you're at that point, you're not thinking. You just think, you fight, you're focused on that. She killed herself and the police had to find her because they couldn't even get her. She took an overdose of pills. And when that happened, I'm thinking, I got people in my life who really love me. And I wouldn't want them to ever have that image of me for the rest of their lives. Because her son had to see that. He has never, I don't care how much therapy he gets. I don't care. you are never going to be able to get that out of your body for the rest. I would not want to have anybody that I care for to have to come in and see me like that. I just, after that, then I realized, that she's going to get tough, but so. Matter of fact, there's a guy here in town who's running for governor, and he was at a lunch that I went with the state police for retirement. He said, well, it's going to be tough. And I'm like, yeah, and that's what a good shit is. And he was like, you want to work for me? But I mean, because that's what, if you're going to put yourself in a situation, a lot of times you're in a situation that you just don't have, a lot of times people are putting themselves in a situation because they need drama. People always add drama to their life when they don't have none. I got no shit. Coming, somebody said, do you jump out of an airplane? I'm like, no. I said, I'm not jumping out of a perfect good plane, but I did change my mind. Okay, now, life expectancy in my family is 60. I'm 64. And I don't plan on going anytime soon, but ain't no guarantee. But if I live to be 100, I'm getting a tattoo on my ass. It's going to say, keep shining, people. And I'm going to be showing that shit as much as I can. I'm going to get one of those Vipers, the motorcycles with the wheels in the front, and put a big old, like a, skull with spikes. I'm going to get fishnet pantyhose and be airing that shit out. I'm going to get in the plane with some young buck and strapped to my back and say, get on and get yourself home. So if I live to be 100, that shit's happening.
I love it. So let's pop to another picture.
Oh,
I love this picture.
I was the first woman ever on the cover of New Mexico Woman magazine on a motorcycle. And I had created my own clothing line called Diva Skins, which that was just another time in my life. Matter of fact, I did that, and it was also before people could wrap their brains around, and I had designed it with turquoise eyes because my mom was half American Indian. But it was a cool design, and it was, but you know what? It served its purpose. When I was in Alaska in 2005, the first time I was routing it out for my 50-state ride in 2006, my bike broke down on the Alaska highway. And everybody kept saying to me, it's so horrible. What happened to your people down there? And I'm like, what the hell's going on? All I know is my bike's broken down and I'm in the middle of nowhere. And I'm just hoping the tow truck driver is going to be nice. He happened to be a chain smoker, which was also bad because I got my head stuck out the window because I'm a dog because I'm allergic to smoke. But the thing is, I had not watched TV. I camped the entire time on this trip. So I get to this little town called Beaver Lodge, Alberta, Canada. And the tow truck driver tells me, because I see neon lights, so I figured cheap hotel, because I'm on a budget. So I walk into this strip joint, and it was a girl on the pole. And everybody's looking at me, and I'm like, okay. But I need a room. I don't care. Not like I haven't seen half-naked women and men before. Because I used to go to my band members. We used to go eat bar pies in the middle of the afternoon, and I ended up coming home with money in my stuff. So so this guy comes out. I said, do you rent rooms? And they're like, yeah. So this guy comes out, sound like he's harking up a lung. He looks at me and says, we don't rent rooms to women. I was like, oh, okay. So I walked back out, and the tow truck driver was like, oh my God, he starts to apologize for all Canadians because he had never, I knew what it was, the way he looked at me. The guy started playing. He said, I've never had anybody have a problem before. And I'm thinking, well, I can't worry about this. I need shelter. So drop me off the campsite. So I pitched my tent in this little campsite at the end of town. So I go into so I figured, and the first night it pours. It pours. And I figured, I'm a woman on a mission. I go to the hardware store and I get a tarp and I'm spinning all day long, spiking this damn thing down. Yeah, I'm hunkered down as long as it takes to get the motorcycle fixed. So the owner of the motorcycle shop pulls up and said, so would you like a hotel room? Because the owner, I had gone to get money changed over, and the woman, the president of the bank, had seen me. She said, well, we can't have anybody pitch the tent in our town. So he comes and said, the people, they're going to buy you a hotel room. I said, give me 5 minutes. I broke that shit down so fast. It took me like 5 hours to get it staked down because I'm like a woman on a mission. It took me 5 minutes to break camp. So I go and I'm in my hotel room. And I turn the picture because I figure I need to find out what's going on in the world. And I see Katrina, Hurricane Katrina, and all these Black people. And that's why I realized the people up in Pink Mountain, Alberta, Canada, said, it's horrible what happened to your people down there. And I'm thinking, they think all the Black people live in New Orleans. So they didn't know. That's what I'm saying. People don't know. When they see you, I'm the only Black person for like 1,000 miles. So they just thinking, it's horrible what happened to your people. So I had my Diva Skins inventory. So what I did when I came back, I took it to Salvation Army in my van, and I donated my entire inventory to Hurricane Katrina relief.
Oh, that's cool.
So like when you do something, sometimes you have a thought that it's going to do a certain thing, and then it turns to something else. So I figured this is going to help so many more people than what I can do. Because when it comes to something like that, money don't mean anything to me. And I mean, it's about people in need. Because I could make more money, but these people need clothes. They need food. Right. They need clothes. They need the bare necessities. They
need the essentials.
They're sleeping in their own filth and stuff like that. And it's like, if you can do something, I like to do stuff that when people don't know it. Like I do stuff like that. I like to do stuff like that all the time. Like, because people have done that to me. I got on that cover, and it was an honor. And they said that the magazine sold out quicker than anybody because people had never seen that before. Also in New Mexico.
You're right.
They told me, matter of fact, one time there was a Temptations concert here in New Mexico, and somebody took me and said, damn, I didn't know that was that many Black people here. I think every Black person in town is at the concert. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Because awesome. Matter of fact, one person, matter of fact, once in a while I'll see a Black person and they look at me because I've got motorcycle gear on like all the time and look at me horrified. I'm like, really? And that's another thing too. It's like, you're the same color. At least you acknowledge each other and just say hello. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a Black person with leather on. So that's what I'm saying. We mess with each other. We make so much shit for each other that's not even necessary. There's too much shit going on in the world. Why you want to add unnecessary, nasty shit to yourself? It makes no sense to me. That makes no sense.
So let's roll with another picture here.
Oh, I'm scared. Oh.
Okay, so I've never seen you in anything or on anything or any sort of transportation that wasn't a motorcycle. So what the hell is going on here?
Well, a friend of mine in St. George, he's a ex-Motor Patrol state police officer, a fighter I used to train, and I stayed with his family, and he just got this thing rigged up. And he said, you want to drive it? And I'm like, hell yeah. So, and I don't look little. But see, I'm a kind of person. I am Oklahoma. I like big trucks, and I don't know why. Okay, I like semis. I love big old nasty trucks. I almost bought a lifted King Cab F-250 dually pickup truck, but I'm thinking, I needed a ladder to get on this thing. But it was so badass, and it was the price. The guy was gonna sell it for like $18,000 because he's like in Air Force, and his girlfriend didn't want it because she couldn't get in and out of it. But when I see stuff like that, I'm like this. See, that's why I'm saying I don't fit the stereotype of what people, when they see me, they're thinking she likes big trucks. She rides a motorcycle by herself. She camps out when there's like nothing in the middle of nowhere. I camped 100 days on this trip. 100 days. I went through 3 tents. And somebody had a nerve to say, well, when you buy tents at Walmart, see, that's another thing too. That's got to go in where stupid people say. They say, always assume, why do you assume I'm going to go to Walmart to buy my shit? Why do you have to assume that? I go, it doesn't matter where I go. As many times I break down and set up a tent, even everybody that I buy tents from, they said, this is what happened. Plus one, I survived a tornado in my tent in southern Wisconsin. That was one of the most horrifying, because Oklahoma, the most horrifying nights of my life. I'm in a tent, and it was hanging on for dear life. I'm hearing the roar and the quiet and the this and the that, and it was so bad that I literally was trying to keep all my gear dry, and I ended up getting like a 2-foot diameter in the room in the tent, and I had to curl up to get a couple hours of sleep. And I get up, and my bike, Big Bertha, that big old Valkyrie, had now sunk like this much into the dirt. Luckily she didn't go over, because I'm thinking I can't see her and I can't get out. I'm stuck, because I saw the clouds when one of the guys that lived there at the campsite takes me to dinner, and I walk out, and I was like, the cloud. When you ride, you look at weather. I mean, you could Google this shit, but you watch weather, because you can see weather from a distance. You can smell it. I can smell rain. So I'm like, that don't look too good. He said, well, there is a thunderstorm warning. That was an understatement. So after I survived this night, like with the headlight thing going down and up all night and trying to protect. At first, when the storm hit, I started videotaping lightning. I'm like, girl, what the hell's wrong with you? What the hell are you pointing the camera at the lightning for? What the hell? I cuss myself out all the time. So now the next morning, I'm rolling my tent, because I got to pull 400 miles after this. I got to pull 400 miles. Now, this is, like I said, that tent did not make it after that. But I don't know. I just know I got to go. So I'm rolling my tent up in mud, which I've been known to do more than once. And if somebody says to me, getting wet, or don't get wet, and it's raining. So I'm rolling my tent up, and all of a sudden, these people are coming over. The people that were next to me were camping, but they got out of their tent and went into their truck, came over to me. Now, I'm a woman on a mission. He says, well, we were really concerned about you last night. I will say, well, you wasn't that concerned about my black ass because you didn't come get me. And the reason why I said that is because they told me where I was, that they actually deter black people from being able to buy houses and get apartments. So I knew that. So right away, they kept coming over to me and said, we didn't know it was going to be that bad, but you didn't come get me last night. So I just rolled my tent up and booked 400 miles. I had to be into Montana.
Oh boy.
I was on schedule. So, yeah, that was like, I camp, I do all kind of things that people don't think that, they just see you and they just think, what?
You break, you break every mold that you possibly can, don't you?
And I'm just doing it. What's funny about it is this ain't an act. This is just me.
I know that.
Said, well, what are you going to have when you become rich and famous? What are you going to be like? I'm like, what? It took me this long to be able to just be me. What the fuck would I want to change? Because people don't understand, when a person is an asshole with money, they was an asshole in the first place. The money just embellished it.
Exactly.
You don't just become an asshole when you get money. I'm sorry. You was an asshole in the first place. The money just gave you, now you can just get away with saying shit because you got money.
Absolutely.
I know people, I know some of these fighters. Yeah, I know these famous fighters and they come from dirt. They come from dirt. And I tell all these young men, I try to just instill in them that the people that, like, when they're going to the top, these people that do that, we call them Klingons when we sing.
Yeah.
Klingons. And as soon as that shit's over, because it's going in. As soon as it's over, they jump off. And I said, remember those people that were there with you before you got that name? I mean, I had guys that start drinking. I mean, they were sleeping on dirt floors in Brazil, come to America, make a lot of money, and then act like an asshole in a nightclub, and then they get kicked out because they're abusing their disc jockey, and they come back with a gun because they told them to leave. And then they figured that, I mean, the fact that you think that you could do that, I mean, I would never in my wildest dreams think that I'm going to be able to get away with taking a gun to a nightclub and not be beat.
Right.
From the time that I arrive to the time that I get wherever I'm going, because that's just stupid. I mean, I deserve that. If I did that, I deserve to be, I would just bend over and say, take the best shot, because that was stupid. There's just certain things you don't do. And that's another thing too, is people just, I don't know, I think that growing up like I did, that amount of respect, and also treat people the way I want to be treated. But I mean, people treat me. I have gotten to the point now when I'm out there in the world camping, sitting in a big old truck, like driving around and driving up on people's lawns and shit. I just learned that you show me how you want me to treat you. If you treat me nice, we can have a good conversation. If you say some shit to me, depending on my mood, because sometimes I'll let it go. Because if I'm tired, if I am mentally shot, because I mean, I got one more gas stop and one more stop before I either get to a hotel, Airbnb, or wherever I'm going to stay. If I need that energy, then you just, I won't even acknowledge you. But if I got some energy, there's flailing. What happened? I get loud and I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't care what I'm going to say. But you know what's funny about it? Everybody just runs away because people don't want to mess with a crazy person. They don't like because they don't know what you're going to do. And I don't know what I'm going to do either. But yeah, so a matter of fact, I was camping up on the, it was Banff. Speaking of tents. And it was overflow. Also, those national parks up there are too damn expensive. To pitch a tent, you shouldn't be paying almost as much as you do at a hotel. It just doesn't make no sense. They said it's an overflow down the street. It's a parking lot. It was gravel. I don't care. I've done push-ups on gravel. I don't care. So I set my tent up. I'm in the outhouse. And I come out and these guys said, there she is. And I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. Because I'm camped right next to like a road crew. And they got those, campers, those tin cans that they stay in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's not good. So I'm sitting in my tent in the door, unzipped, tallying my receipts. And a King Cab pickup truck comes around with 6 guys in it. They stop, they look at me, and they drive off. And I'm like, oh, that ain't good. I'm in the middle of nowhere. As soon as the sun gets going down, you ain't going nowhere. Because big animal, you don't want to do a dusk or dawn. You don't want to do that because up there, it ain't no joke. Because what you hit, you won't even remember it. It won't even hurt. So I said, I'm not leaving. So what I did is I made peace that night. I had my knife, because I lay everything out the exact same way. I carry knives, and I have them laid out that way I could put my hand on something without opening my eyes. So I laid my knives out, and I said to myself, I said, well, you're not, if you're going to come and get me, you're not going to take me from point A to point B, because then I ain't going to make it. Because I'm not going to be able to beat 6 men. But I said, if you do come at me, then you might kill me, but you're going to know that you tangle with me. And because anytime you pull a knife on somebody, you can get cut too. You can get shot if you pull a gun on somebody, if you're not just ready to use it right away. So luckily they never came, but I made peace. So when I do talks at, these workshops for these women, and I always say to them, because where I go, there's no phone service. So I tell them, I said, if you go down, you now become food, because an animal is going to get to you before a person, because you are not anywhere close to a town, nothing.
Right.
If you go down, you start bleeding, you become food, and you have to become an animal. And they said, that's pretty harsh. And I'm like, well, then you should stay home, because you shouldn't be doing this. That's what you have to do. And you don't want, you know what I'm saying? What happens with that, you have to think that way. You don't ride thinking that way. You don't think about, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God. No, you have this sense of calm, because you have to stay relaxed all the time. I don't care how hard. Matter of fact, the harder it is, for some reason, the more relaxed I get. I don't know what it is when shit gets. I get relaxed.
You've had to use your survival instincts for years, all right, and everything from surviving childhood to surviving, the pitfalls of life to the road and traveling the road alone. I mean, you've done how many trips now to Alaska solo?
5. I've done 5 on 3 different bikes, and 3 different times 3 bikes broke down, and I busted fork seals, busted a rear tire, and I'm going back again.
Exactly. You told me that. So
And what's
So
funny about it, one day when I go, after I got that tattoo on my ass and jumped out of a plane with this little butt, I want my ashes thrown on the Alaska Highway. So I told my boys that. I said, I want my ashes thrown on the Alaska Highway. I said, Mom, we're going to throw that shit out of a plane. We're not riding the motorcycles out there. Because see, what's cool about it is these young men who are badasses, but I like it because you don't know that. I mean, they don't walk around because they don't have to. These
right.
kind of guys, because I mean, I got guys who are 135 pounds. I got these guys walking around all puffed up, and I got a 135-pound fighter who can kick your ass. It ain't about the size; it's what you can do with that body. And so the thing
Absolutely.
is, I get a kick at it, but they laugh because when I did 48 states in 48 days, and there's people doing it a lot less, but I wasn't doing it for that. But I broke my collarbone, separated my shoulder, and broke some ribs 3,000 miles into a 13,000-mile ride, and did the ride with a broken collarbone, separated shoulder, and broken ribs. And somebody said, you could have done it in 10 days. And I'm like, I did that. 10,000 miles with a broken collarbone.
It's insane.
Separated shoulder. And so fuck you. So he was like, oh, you did fine. Don't fuck with me, motherfucker. I mean, I'm talking about putting my helmet on, just putting my anything, because it was it's messed up. It's all kind of fucked up in here.
Sure.
So it's anytime I just lifted my arm like this, it would take me 5 minutes just to recover because of that pain. But I mean, if somebody told me, you're not impressing me. For one thing, this ain't about you. I set a goal, 48 states in 48 days. I said, pain's temporary, failure's forever. I said, if I could still ride my motorcycle, I'm going to do it. If I was jeopardizing my life by riding my motorcycle, then I wouldn't do it. But if I can physically do it and it's just pain, I'm finishing this shit. Matter of fact, I went to a motorcycle shop to get my service, and one guy said, I wouldn't fuck with you hurt. Because I got another arm. But also, too, you got to understand, when you're out there and you're injured, you can't flag that shit. Nobody can know you're hurt out there, because if somebody knows you're hurt, they'll go for that. You cannot flag an injury. People don't realize when you do that. Like when I sprained my ankle when I was training people, and I'm hoofing freaking 20 blocks in Manhattan on crutches. And somebody said, don't you feel like you'd be a victim? I'm like, no, these motherfuckers would get a crutch in them. Because you see, that's another thing too, is whatever you can reach, put your hand on as a weapon. It's a weapon.
Absolutely.
I mean, there ain't no such thing as tap it out there. This is war. You come at me, but the thing is, you can project yourself. I did a class with a guy who teaches street smarts in Manhattan. And because I was walking the streets, I always like to get this strong. It ain't about this. It ain't about this. It ain't about all this other shit. If you have to do that, that's one thing, but it's about this. He said, we're up in his apartment. He said, I can take you to Central Park and I can teach you how to kill people. I'm like, don't do that. I'm good. Because this is the kind of guy, he was like one of these like 7th or 8th degree black belts. But I love people that are, when you talk to them, badasses don't have to talk shit about how badass they are when he was just this demeanor on him. We hit the streets of Manhattan, and his whole demeanor, and it wasn't like, it's almost like his whole body, everything started, it lifted, his aura just did this. And it was like it just changed. And the thing is, but it was still that powerful aura. So he told me, do me a favor, walk, because in Manhattan you have rush hour walking. You got this sea of people.
Yeah, I've seen it many times.
So I'm going. He said, I want you to go upstream and see how many people you can get not to touch you. He said, I want you to project your energy, your aura. So I would do that. And the same guy that I told to kiss my ass, that paid for me to go to Morocco, I'm practicing. You give me a homework, I'm practicing. I'm walking the streets of Manhattan, and literally people are partying. He says, my God, he said, I'm walking behind you. People are almost knocking me down, and they're partying like Moses in the Red Sea when you're coming through. And and that's another thing too, is about when I'm doing these workshops they don't have to be just women, men people need to hear this. Sometimes you don't have that common sense that you can just get out there and use this force in you. Keep your head out of your phone. If you go to a cash machine, don't be, if I go to a cash machine, I leave my helmet on. Matter of fact, sometimes when I go to a place, I leave my helmet on. Even when I'm not, these are just liners. I always have my hands covered when out there because you're always ready, but yet not afraid. I said, I'm not fearful. I'm just ready. And then you react like this last accident. It was react. I had no time to think that this car is going to hit me and I'm going to survive a 100-mile-an-hour impact. But I just see and do. And if you just but that's another thing too about riding motorcycles. People want to, like the state police, motor patrol, when they ask you to ride with them, two things happen. Either you get better or you get dead. Ain't no middle of the ground. Because they don't give you, because if they want you to ride with them, you don't have a time to acclimate. You are now thrown into a fucking G-force and you're riding with these motherfuckers like mirror to mirror, like wheel to wheel, and they want to talk to you because that's what they do. I'm like, I don't.
That's what they're accustomed to.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to them. We can stop. They're trying to talk to me, and I'm like, dude, I'm just thinking. The first time I did this, I was with I don't know how many of them. I think I was cocooned in these guys, and I'm thinking initially, I'm gonna kill all of us because if you mess up like this, we're talking about. If you deviate, everything's, it's just a simple. So I'm thinking, okay, this is within milliseconds. I'm going to kill all of us to, damn, this is some shit right here. So I went from, but if they didn't trust you to ride with you wouldn't be there. So, I ride with them off duty.
Exactly. And that's awesome.
I've turned them down too. You know why? Because if you are not, if when you ride a motorcycle,
you're not mentally prepared. It's not time to ride.
If you're not on, because matter of fact, the sergeant, the friend of mine, some of his officers have called up and telling him that they don't have it. He'll tell them, don't get on that scooter today. Don't do it. Because you don't get a second chance on that bike. So The thing is with that, same thing too, is you're relaxing. They told me, I got New Mexico State Police swag everywhere on me because that's what's so cool about that. I like the fact that what I do is earned, and these are people who I always look up to see them. The fact that you're on a motorcycle chasing people. This my friend goes off into the freaking dunes on an RT and catches this guy, and the guy stops because he's like, dude, you're crazy. Because the fact that they invite me to their events, and that to me, that's another thing too, is when I was married to my ex, as a female coach. For one thing, I've never compromised myself. I used to have male trainers and male clients. All my male clients were given to me by their wives because they trusted me. He was always accusing me of fucking my fighters. These are my children. These are my babies. Matter of fact, they don't even want to think that mama has a vagina. Matter of fact, when they read my book, the part that says 700-pound vibrator, these children are going to be scarred for life because they're going to be wondering, oh, damn. They don't want to hear it. They'll be like this, la, la, la. No lie, they don't want to hear that shit. So the thing is, but he was accusing me of that. I have never, ever, ever, ever compromised myself with any of my fighters, with any of my boys, because even with the state police, these are my boys. These are my boys. It's like, if I did it, don't you think these motherfuckers would be talking? If I would have fucked one fighter, everybody in this town would know that my mother fucked this fucked fighter, and I wouldn't be able to walk in any gym or any fighter because my name would be dirt. The male fighters, the male coaches could fuck anybody they want to, but if I did it once, but it's never crossed my mind. It's never crossed my mind. It just don't even seem like these are young men that now. A lot of these young men are retired, are coaches, and are doing. Matter of fact, the young man with the Jeep, he's a coach, and he had his own gym up in Utah.
Yeah.
I walked into the gym and I'm looking around and they're doing all the exercises that I used to do with him. And I started smiling. He said, I looked at him, he said, because it works, because that means, I said, don't, that's not a bad problem. I said, don't you understand? That means a part of me is going to live on forever. That means that what I did for you, you believe in enough to know that the next person that you're going to work with is going to make them better. Because I work from here, I work with fighters. Every damn fighter that I work with, all of them has to be trained in a different way. Some of them are Marines and I have to scream at them. I love that. I love working with Marines and wrestling coaches. Wrestling teams and Marines are my favorite. I can scream at them, and that's the only way they hear me, and I love it. I walk into a wrestling, matter of fact, I've been hired to go up to Colorado to work with the wrestling team up there. When I walk in and the coach is already screaming, I'm like, now it's time for Momma D
Now
to
you're
take it
home.
up and up. Oh, it's awesome. Matter of fact, the coach has hired me to come up there to work with his team in Colorado. I had worked at St. Pius private Catholic school, Momma D, wearing knives and shit. They're like, Momma D is here.
That's
So
awesome.
I trained, I worked with the wrestling team, and I always break off the big ones first, and it's all mind game. I won't ever do anything they can't.
Absolutely.
There's always, I won't ever set up a failure, but they got to believe they can do it. So when they went to state, this young man was good. He was a 185 pounder. Good. Was in the finals at state. He was tweaking out. He's dying. He's freaking out, saying, oh, I got to get through this. So the coach threatened him with Momma D. He said, you know Momma D's coming. So he was like, he straightened up. And he won. He won state. And you know what's funny about it? All the little kids for the state, they dyed their hair blonde. I can't remember what the blonde wig on.
There
And
you
the
go.
thing is,
Love
they
it.
love that. And the coach and the fighter was jumping on me and hugging me and was saying, Momma D. So he says, you got to come up to Colorado and break these little boys off up there. So my two favorite people to train are Marines, any special forces, because special forces to me, because see, I like to train warriors because I don't care who you are. You got blood in your veins. You have a point that there is pain. And my job is to find it as quickly as possible. And that's going to make you successful once you leave me. So it's not a competition with me because you're a badass. If you hit me once, I'd be dead. It's just that you know that if you don't kill me, you better run. But I mean, they know that because I don't know. I mean, I just kind of reacted to that like that, and they don't know because I've actually let off a taser in the gym and all of them hit the floor. They say, Mama, that wasn't funny. I'm like, yes, it was. But I like to get a person that's already the best of the best and they're going up against the best of the best. And it only takes like that 100th of a second to be first or second. And my job is to find that best way to get that 100% out of you.
Absolutely.
And knowing that because I'll tell people all the time, I say, Mom, I can't do that. I'm like, I will never set you up for failure. You got to believe that you can. But when I'll see it in their eyes.
Let's pop up another picture.
I'm scared. That's another one. I was the first person on this magazine cover. And matter of fact, I always try to take my pictures in front of the Veterans Memorial here in Albuquerque. That seems to be my favorite place to.
Okay.
And that's what I was taking.
I love that. Get Yonder and stuff.
Get
and then
Yonder magazine. I was the first woman to be ever on that cover.
That's cool. That's very cool. And I want to roll into another picture.
Oh, it always makes me. Oh my! Oh.
So tell me about these.
Okay, I created those a little over 10 years ago. I like chocolate, but I can't have chocolate because it makes my blood sugar drop too fast.
Yeah.
So I wanted something that was good, healthy, that kept your blood sugar level. So I started experimenting with all this stuff, and it's like And all of a sudden, I stumbled upon. I mean, it was like literally going to a factory, just kind of like getting ideas of what I would like to put together. And I get it. And I'm like, what the hell did I just do? So I had to try to replicate it. And since I did it, and I wrote everything down. And there's like 16 ingredients in there. So even though that I've done it, I don't know how many times, I still have the ingredients on the back of my refrigerator. That way I make sure I lay everything out. So I prep that I lay everything out. I do everything in order. That way I know that I'm not going to leave anything out. Oh, that's also homemade almond butter in there. I make my own almond butter and put in there.
Yeah, you told me that.
And they also have to be refrigerated because they're all natural. They're not this shit you're going to see on a store shelf and you don't know how long it's been there. When you order it, I do ship them, but I probably won't be shipping them that much in Vegas because of the heat. In the summertime, I'll ship them in the wintertime because they'll just melt.
Right.
The fighter that I work with in Vegas is gonna love it because he lives there. I can just deliver them to his house now.
And he's gonna get them all the time.
And he'll get them all. He's like, "You're still gonna make the bars?" I'm like, "Well, hell yeah, I gotta have them too."
But well, I still haven't tried one, so one of these days I'm gonna have to try one. That's for sure.
Matter of fact, well, of course, when I'm out there, I'm gonna be making them. You'll be getting them all the time, and they keep you. I also use them for my fighters when they're making weight, and I cut them into pieces, and that way they can have them as a snack throughout the day. You know they're good when a little child will be following you around and asking you for more. This is when I first started making them, and I was bringing them to this one gym, handing out samples. So this one fighter I was training, who is in the UFC, he's actually fighting next weekend. I had given him a bar, but he was getting interviewed. He was wanted to get stretched. So I'm stretching him, and while he wanted to eat the bar after the interview. So he lays the magic bar right next to him on the mat in the pack. The little kid, like 3 years old, is creeping up on his bar. And he's like, "I know you're 3 years old, but I will kick your ass." I mean, he's threatening. That's how bad it gets. People will threaten people. But he's like, one guy, he's the owner of a gym. It's supposed to be martial arts is supposed to be honor. He said, he bought several dozen before I went on a road trip. He posted on Facebook, "There's a thief in the gym. I had enough bars for 3 weeks and they're all gone. They stole the bars."
Oh my goodness.
That's how good they are. But they're so good because, I mean, if anybody, you should see me make them. Because I pray over every tray, God bless his food, and whoever eats it. When I make them, somebody's got a video tape me just, because when I make that sample, I know exactly what it's going to taste like. But every time I do it, I'm like,
sounds like a Knuckle Busters short we're going to have to do sometime.
Oh, it's just, well, see, I was going to I told this one police, he was state police, APD. Now he's a coach. And I said, "I want to make a commercial." I said, "It makes you feel so good. You want to touch yourself." And he grabs himself and says, "I'm down. I'll do the commercial." Because, I mean, their eyes roll back in your head, lips smacking tasty. There are Momma D's magic bars, soul fuel bars, and I sell them here at a gym here in town, and I can't keep them in stock. And I'm not. And what's cool about it is that just makes me know that these young people who are getting them know that you're not just getting a bar. I mean, when people get them, you think that I sell them in brown paper bag and autograph them, and sometimes I put a hearts on them and the whole thing. But when they grab them, you literally would think that they had gold in their hands.
Sure.
Because I feel that's another thing too, is another way I can spread, because somebody said, "How much money you make?" I don't even know. I don't know about that. It's about putting smiles on people's faces. Jesus Christ. You know, people always take the fun out of the love out of stuff. It's like if you put more love in stuff, the other stuff's going to come. But you put the love first, not the other stuff first, the superficial bullshit.
All right. So let's bring up another picture.
Oh,
I love this. I love this photo.
That was, they were trying to make the world record up in Colorado, and actually one of the photographers took a picture of me taking a picture of everybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
He ended up being, his name is Kyle. He's up out of, I'm not sure if he's out of Denver or not, but him and his wife are just so badass. You know, sometimes you get these, when you just know a photographer that just gets it,
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? That they look at more than just bodies. They see things. And he's one of those kind of people. He just every picture he took was something like that. It was just like,
We had Michael Lecter on here a couple of weeks ago, and that's the way Michael is. He just has that incredible vision. He understands the content and the surroundings, not just the people, but
yeah,
to make it all come together and tell a story with one single picture.
yeah.
And I love that. So
Yeah, that's a talent. That's definitely a talent. I'm getting better. I don't, that's, but I get when you're on the road, you, I got really good at taking state signs. Instead of me moving that big bike, I'd move the camera. So I stop on a
right,
state sign and get the state sign I'm going through, and then the one I just left and just turn the picture around and then put the bike behind it. And you had to start using your brain out there because sometimes people steal state signs, and
yeah,
you got to go 20 miles out of your way just to get a state sign, and you got to get on the shoulder sometimes, and sometimes the debris is so bad. The worst top the well the worst debris is like in the New York tri-state area because there's so many people, and it's just
oh
so
yeah,
much. And
oh
you know
yeah.
why? Because there's so many people. There's only so much they could do to keep on that up on that shit.
Well,
I
out
know
east,
that.
you're absolutely right. Out east, it's terrible. You got west, like Wyoming, places like that. They got a big wide area pull up. I mean, they actually make it so you can take pictures. They know people are going to do it. But if you're in Massachusetts, New York, oh, especially the eastern part of the states, no, no, there's nothing. It's like,
Yeah,
whoa, wait, I'm in Massachusetts,
yeah.
and where the hell am I going to go
There was
back
the
and park
sign.
and get this picture?
There was the sign. I just passed it. Fuck.
Exactly.
One time I passed the main sign. It was like midnight. And I'm like, well, I'm just have to get that in the morning. And I had to come all the way back down, make a U-turn, and then do like this in front of the state sign. And behind me, it said no parking. I
Ah,
have a lot of shit like that I had to do. I've been on bridges. I was on a bridge in Washington, so no parking. This is my one shot, and I got to take it.
exactly.
So I mean, and the thing is, it's like sometimes you will get somebody who'll be cool, and sometimes they'll be, I'll just say I'm doing this, and most time, but once in a while you get a prick. You're gonna have
Right.
that in everything. It just
So let's
sucks.
so let's roll to the next picture.
Oh my god, I love it. Oh my goodness. For some reason, I don't lay up with these little boys, but God keeps sending them to me. I don't know what it is. I was on the streets of Vegas for my birthday. I think it was my 60th birthday. Walking down the street, and all of a sudden, this fine child was like this to me, and I'm like, what? And I turned around and it was going the other way. He said, no, 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 come here. So I was like, oh my, and they were standing there with their shirts off. So they give me the United States flag and said, grab hold to it. And they put their arms underneath my armpit and they told me to cross my legs and on the count of three to jump. And they just held me and sustained me in the air like that. And I was thinking to myself, they picked me because they knew they could pick my ass up. Because there's certain people you're not going to be able to do that to. There's,
Right.
I'm serious. There's some people say, "Oh hell, we can't try that." But
I
it was
just
so, it was so cool though. That was one of those moments that's framed.
well, I debated between this and one of the pictures of you doing the splits because you're famous for doing that, aren't you?
Yeah, I do that. I do that all the time, and I'll break out with a split once in a while. Matter of fact, I did a split up in Illinois last year, and all the women were like, "Are you kidding me? Do we all have to do that?" She was like, "No." And one lady said, "Of all this stuff," I'm looking over. She said, "Of all the stuff you've done, that's the most impressive right there." Oh, Jesus Christ! Because,
That's
but you know what I do that for is to show people. Because somebody said, "Well, I could do that when I was 10. I couldn't do that when I was 10." That just shows you that I stretch all the time. That if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's just a way of me taking care of myself. I stretch every single day, and that's a way of reversing the aging process. I mean, when you got
sure.
people that are half your age that can't do a split, then they're already older than you.
Right. That's a good point. That's a great point. So I want to bring up another picture because I want to talk about this because this is pretty cool.
Oh,
Um,
that's my baby out. That's Mr.
so
Brian
so let's,
Mendoza.
this is something, one thing I like to do here is, I like to show the diversity of the individuals that are here, and Mama D, we're talking to you, and we talk about growing up in Oklahoma and killing dinner if you need to. All right, wiping out those stray dogs. The challenges and pitfalls of growing up, and how you overcame that, and going to college, and singing, and being a personal trainer, and riding your bike all over the world. Okay, making your bars, and then you train this gentleman. You're your strength and conditioning coach,
Well,
correct?
well, I used to. That's when he moved to Vegas, but I'm kind of retired right now because
Okay.
because you know reason why. I mean, I've when I trained a fighter. I mean, I trained when he lived in Albuquerque. Same thing with Clay Guida, who I'm going to see his fight August 23rd.
Right.
I trained him from 2008 until he started training in California, and I trained them. But when they leave, and that's then now all that. As a matter of fact, Clay got voted into the Hall of Fame, the UFC Hall of Fame. And I told him that I couldn't make it. And he said, you realize part of that trophy is yours too?"
No, and
So
that's so remarkable because here you are taking world class athletes. I mean, you're people that are going into the ring and fighting for championships, and they're there because of you.
I'm getting chills right now. I'm literally getting chills right now. And this young man, we see he always. What's so cool about this is we did a lot of we had a lot of local fighting events in Albuquerque. He would always come find me because I always saw something in this young man, and it's a work ethic. Such a humble young man, but a work ethic that you cannot imagine. You don't get that good and that crisp without putting thousands of hours in. Because when I saw that, see, and nobody else really saw that. And he saw that I saw that. And I had a fighter coming in that was I think a 7-time world champion that I was training, that was getting ready to fight. And he would be the sparring partner for me. He would come in and help me with this other fighter to get him rounds. And we always kept in touch. And then I did some work with him before he moved to Vegas. And when I go to Vegas, he makes time. We make time. And one time I was working with him, it was right in my apartment. And after I trained the fighters, I always give them a couple of bars. So we're leaving. He said, "Mom, I didn't get my bars." This young man is sitting here waiting downstairs. He followed me back to the apartment to get his bars. Because that's why, I mean, I could have brought him to him. But I mean, that's like I said, with him, he and I, it's the same thing. I don't have that kind of time anymore because when I work with a fighter, every single one of the fighters that I work with, and I've told them that I don't care how much money you give me, you can't really afford what I put into you. Because I give you stuff. I will torture you, I will bust your ass, and you get mama love. And other coaches don't do that. They have a lot of other coaches are more one dimensional. They can cry in front of me. I got fighters that feel very comfortable crying in front of me, showing me a side of them because they know I won't judge them. This is a young man right here. We will be friends forever. He's one of those young men that we talked to. He said, "Well, I think it's funny," is he said, "Mama, I can't describe you to people." He just brings people to meet me because he said, "I can't describe you to people." And that's an honor too, because that's another thing of respect. But this young man, he's he's going places. I mean, he's
Well,
and
I
I'm just glad to be a part of his life.
I think when you talk about these fighters and you talk about you and what you give, you talk about giving you. You truly give a piece of you, and that is priceless. And that's what you know, you are priceless, and you're priceless to many. Okay, and what you do when you give that piece of your soul, your heart to somebody, you truly give it. It's not an act, it's not a statement, it's nothing else. It's what you truly do, and that is why it makes a difference. And
And
I
that's
love
why
it.
it makes me feel so good when they'll think when they think that they want to give up, and they have told me more than once, "I hear your voice."
I love it. I love it. So Mama D, we're kind of This has been fun, and we need to wrap up. So I'm going to go through three questions. We got three questions we do in every interview. All
Uh-oh.
right. So now, we're going to ask our three questions of you.
Okay.
Okay. First question is, okay, if you could ride with anybody, dead or alive, have an opportunity. I know you ride solo, but ride with anybody. Okay. Who would that be?
That I haven't ridden with before,
Yeah.
or have I that I've ridden with already?
Or you'd want to ride again.
I
Doesn't matter.
believe it or not, anything to do with New Mexico State Police or state police officer to me is probably the biggest honor for me. That to me, and can I just add one more thing is when I did my 50 state ride, I had 4 New Mexico State police officers that my sergeant had set up for an escort. And the fact that they were standing pretty much at attention when I was giving them the agenda for the day. And that to me, that's a bond that I cherish. And anytime I get a chance to be around these people that that was one of the best days of my life, that day when I left on that ride, because of these guys, when they led everybody out of town and I'm drifting back in the left lane because I'm getting ready to ride off into the sunset for 169 days. And they followed me and they gave me a state police pass to sew on my jacket and the whole thing. And they were giving me thumbs up. And that was right there. I was like, then I rode off into the sunset like this. And I'm like, yeah, if I can just continue to do that, that right there, I'll die happy.
I think you probably puffed a few chests out with my saying that. And there's going to be some New Mexico State Police that are going to be proud of the fact that they got that moniker from you.
Oh.
So, next question. I know you got your Beamer. You've ridden a number of different bikes. Really, what's your dream bike? What would you if you could have that dream bike? What would that be?
The bike. Well, I can't disrespect Big Bertha. Like the first bike that I had, that Valkyrie, that naked gold wing, that six-cylinder, 6 carburetor behemoth of a bike. That bike, despite the girth, her and I turned her into a dirt bike, a freaking sport bike, a touring bike, and it just fit. It was just one of those kind of things that, every bike that I get, I end up making it mine. I mark it. Even when I see it on the floor, I sit on it and say, you can take it off the floor now, I put my scent on it. But that bike was probably the best to get me through. I didn't even hesitate to go off on a dirt road, a gravel road, mud. I didn't even I think about that now, and people say, but you got the bike to do it on because I have the GS. And I'm like, you don't know
Right.
what you have. Yeah. Matter of fact, when I went to Alaska in 2014 on my ST 1300, that sport touring bike, I asked the guys in Fairbanks, I said, so have you had any more, how many STs have made it? They said, you're it. Because that bike is not meant to do that road.
Right.
So I say it's the rider, not the bike. But I think I just can't disrespect Big Bertha. That was just
I get that.
My girl.
So my last question, and this is a good question for somebody like you. This is a great question. If you could ride anywhere in the world, anywhere that you have not been, where do you want to ride? Where's the one place you'd like to go ride one day?
I do want to do the Alps. I want to do the French, Italian. I want to do the Alps.
Okay.
Because the reason why I want to do that is because I have a friend who owns a touring company.
Yeah.
And it's not just because he was one of the tour guys when I went to Morocco.
Right.
And I just know I'll be taken care of. I know I'll have a good time because I wouldn't want to do that by myself. See, that's kind of stuff. Like riding in other parts of the country by myself, like the part of the world like that, that doesn't intrigue me because I don't speak the language. I want to be able to go somewhere to spend time with beauty, but on a ride like that, because the tour guide, like this young man, he is so good. I love to ride with good people. And you always get better. I always ride behind them. So I would like to do that because of the company that I know I would have. He said, you know, we could have an organized tour. You do it a solo, or you could do it with a group. I'd rather do it with a group because these kind of trips you bond.
Oh,
You bond,
absolutely.
and yeah, I want to do something like that, and just but enjoy it. You're never doing a lot of day, like a lot of hours in the day. You spend you go you it starts early, and then you start eating breakfast like they drink a lot on these. You drink a lot, so the breakfast get later. But it's more about seeing beauty and just kind of making some connections. But and you feel very pampered and taken care of. But you get to see parts of the world and see other cultures and things like that.
That's a wonderful thing. So, Mama D, you got a new book coming out.
Yes,
You're,
beyond the
you're
bike.
okay. You've got some engagements coming up. I know you're going to be in Woodstock, Illinois, right?
Yes, I have. I have a book. Beyond the bike is real life tactics to be yourself best self in and out of the saddle. And I also am going to be, of course, going to Vegas, and
Yep.
then I'm going to be going to Woodstock, Illinois. I'm going to Vegas to look at properties, and then for UFC to watch Clay Guida, one of my boys, to fight on the 23rd. Come back just about 6 days, and I'm heading up to Woodstock. I'm the guest speaker up there, and they'll probably have over 700 women. I'll be the speaker, and then right after that, I go back to Albuquerque, and then I'm doing a personal meet and greet weekend in Kansas City at a motorcycle shop with a female-owned motorcycle shop there, and then
Okay.
I come back, and then I go right to another event. I'm speaking in Colorado, a women's group there that they do a. They were all camping, but I think they're doing more cabins now this year. But I'm
Sure.
also the keynote speaker for that. But then I just got asked to be a guest speaker the third week of June in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So
So,
and
if
then
people want to catch up with you, how are they gonna track you down?
okay, you got well right now it's D Diamond, but it's really gonna be Momma D Diamond on Facebook. And the reason why they it's still D because they didn't think that Momma D Diamond was a real name. So now that I have my license, I'm gonna let Facebook know this is my real legal name. You can find me on Facebook at Momma D Diamond, Momma D period Diamond, and then on Instagram is Momma D Diamond. And you can find me also on my website, mommadsmagic.com. You can also order right now. You can order bars, you can order books, and kind of keep up with crazy Mama D.
We'll make sure we share some information on our page, and we'll keep folks updated. So, Mama D, as always, it's an absolute pleasure. I love you, and I'm so glad you
I
came
love
on.
you.
And it's great. Can't wait till we get together again soon. It'll probably be Woodstock. I'll cruise over. Uh, Maybe I can sneak in with amongst all those women and stuff incognito or something, right?
I'll bring you a wig.
There we go. We'll make this work. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Thank you again.